This is Doug with Break Tech. Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and continue on our React Tic-Tac-Toe application. I've navigated in my command prompt into the project folder, and I'm just going to type npm start to start the development server. And once that's going, we should get our Tic-Tac-Toe application up, which doesn't do anything again because we've removed the two test cases that we had, the two tiles that had inputs on them. We've removed them, so even our reset function, which technically when we click it does clear the board, isn't actually doing anything currently. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to continue to work on the game logic. We're going to update the update board function, which is the function that's called by the tile component when the tile is clicked. So the first thing that this component needs to check when a tile is clicked, the first thing we need to know is that a valid play? Has that tile already been used by a player? Does it already contain an X or no? So the way we're going to do that is we'll just say if this state.gameboard LOC, and LOC is the location provided to us by the child component when it calls its copy of the update board that was passed as a prop, if that makes sense. So if that equals X or if that equals O, we know that this is not a valid play. So in those cases, we want to go ahead and just return. And if Tic-Tac-Toe were a more complicated game, it would probably be useful to give the player an error and let them know why their play has failed. But since Tic-Tac-Toe is so simple and everyone basically knows how to play it, the only reason you can imagine that anyone would ever click a tile that already contained an X or no in an attempt to make a valid play would be as if they accidentally did it. So we'll just say invalid move, and we'll go ahead and return out of the function and break the process. So after we've done that, we need to test and see if there's a winner to the game. Well, first we need to update the board and place the player's play, since it's not if we've gotten this far, it must be a valid play. So first thing we want to do is what we'll do is we'll create another if statement, and this time we're going to test. So we're going to test each of the cases that could be a winner. So we have, if you look at our Tic-Tac-Toe board, we know that you win by doing all three across the top, middle, or bottom, or the columns, or either diagonal. And those are the only ways you can win. So we can just test each one of those to see if there are 3 X's or 3 O's, and if there are, then we have a winner. And the way we'll do that is we'll just say we'll go ahead and we'll create a variable. We'll say let top row equal this dot state dot gameboard, and we'll use 0 plus this dot state dot gameboard 1 plus this dot state dot gameboard 2, and then if we can match in the top row either X, 3 X's in a row, or 3 O's in a row, we know that that means there's a winner. And it doesn't matter which, because we're alternating players, and in a sense we're checking this. As long as it's a valid move, the game will end as long as one player or the other wins. So we don't have to know which player we're checking. So if that's the case, then we want to set this dot set state. Let's see. And we want to set winner to player, or this.state.turn. And they actually are equivalent, but I think we can just remove this player. I don't think I'm actually using it at all, and I don't think there's any reason to pass it as a prop to the tile, since we're actually calling the update board function on the parent, which the current turn is stored in the player state already. So I don't think there's any reason we need to use that. So I think we're going to remove it from the tile component altogether. But for now, we'll go ahead and leave it, just because I can't remember if I used it anywhere else. So we'll set the winner, and then we'll go ahead and return an end. And then we'll do the same thing again. We're going to do the same thing again for each of the cases where there could be a winner. So we'll go ahead and copy this. So we'll say top row, then we'll do the middle row. And then this one is going to be 3, 4, 5. Positions 3, 4, and 5. And this is not the most efficient way to do it, but I think it's really readable, so that's why I went ahead and used it. And this one is going to be 6, 7, and 8. This will be the bottom row. And then we're going to continue to do this, you know, for the columns. So this will be the left column. And this one's going to be 0, what is it, 0, 3, 6. And then we'll update the state if that matches. And then just to minimize typing, we'll do the middle column. Oops. And that one's going to be 147. And then we'll do the right column. And that one's going to be 258. So then we just have the two diagonals. We have, well, I guess we'll call it the left diagonal and right diagonal. And then it'll be what, 0, 4, 8? 7, sorry, 0, 4, 7. There's no 8, so that's a mistake. Right. No, that's right. And the right diagonal. Darn it, clicking. And the right diagonal is going to be 2, 4, 6, actually. And I think that should do it. What do we miss? We missed a step here. We're not actually placing the player's move, is what we've missed. So what we need to do is let's make a copy of the game board, because we don't want to mutate the state. We want to create a new copy and then basically paste that copy over the old state. So we'll go ahead and say let current game board. We're going to set that to this.state.gameboard. And then we're going to go ahead and splice in the player's move. So we'll say, we'll splice in at the location that was clicked. we will splice in a single element, and that will be this dot state dot turn. And then we can go ahead and set the state. Since we know that this is a valid move, there's no reason not to set the state. And we'll say that the game board now equals the current game board. Alright, so now we should be able to make a move, test if it's valid, and if it is valid, update the game board, and then test to see if there's a winner. And the only thing left to do is, if we don't find a winner, if we run through all this code and we don't find a winner, that means that there's a possibility that there's a draw. So what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and say, keep trying not to use var anymore, but it's just muscle memory, I guess. So let moves equal this dot state dot game board dot join. So we're gonna join together all the elements in the array with no delimiter, so they're just back to back to back. And then we're gonna replace any empty space with nothing. So what this gives us is the length then of moves will become the number of plays that have been made so far. So we can just say if moves.length is equal to 9, meaning that the array is full, there's no more positions that could be played. We can set the state of winner to draw, meaning that our game over element needs to appear. Winner will no longer be null, but there's no more possible moves that can be made. Which, if we go back up to the top, now if our players continue to click the board, they can, but they're always going to get bumped out of the function right here at the top because none of the plays are going to be valid. So after we've done that, it's time to switch which player's turn it is. So down here, we'll just say this dot set state and if that equals, and this could go either way, if that equals x, how did I do this? Let's see. Then we want to set it to O, and if not, that means it was O's turn, so we want to set it to X. Just want to run through it one more time. So we click an element on the board, we run the update board function. It checks first to see if the game board position that we've clicked has already got an X or an O in it. If it does, then it bumps us out of the function. If it does not, it continues on, updates the game board, resets the state of the game board to our new state with the new move on it. We then check all of the possible winning combinations to see if there's been a winner. If there has been a winner, then we change the state to include a winner. And if it doesn't, then we check for a draw. If there's no draw, we know that there's no winner no draw. That means we need to change over to the other player. So we can go ahead and call this.setState, change the turn to the player that did not just play, and I think that should do it. So if I haven't made any mistakes, which is unlikely, we should be able to check it. I'll go ahead and rerun it. Alright, so I'm not currently able to make a play. Let's see if we have any errors in the inspector. Alright, tile click is not a function. So we'll have to go back and look into that. One moment. Alright, so I discovered the error. The error was that I had misspelled click and had a capital L. So changing that to a lowercase l now calls the tile click function. So if we go ahead and check in our console, we see we have no errors at this point. We go back to our application, and now when we click a tile, we still need to fix the styling, but it alternates between X's and O's. And let's see, we put an X right here, we should get a game over because X has won. And we can change this game over so that it displays that as well. Then if we click reset, we'll reset, and then once there is a winner, we cannot, we shouldn't be able to place additional tiles, so we'll go ahead and fix that here in just a moment. So it looks like what we need to do is go back to app.js and go ahead and test to see in this function we can say if X is already played, O is already played, or this.state.winner equals draw, or this.state.winner. We can go ahead and say it's an invalid move because if there's already a winner, there should be no valid move. So let's go ahead and test that. So X, O, X, O, X. We have a winner, and additional clicks do not work. And if I reset the game, I can play again. And I can reset the game. Okay, so let's clean this up in the next video, and we should be just about done with this project. Thanks for watching. This has been Doug with BreakTech.